We are 4 seasons into our Building a Nation save in Jamaica with Montego Bay United, and we have, as of yet, failed to win the Jamaican Premier League, despite the fact we've actually done really well in it. Technically in Season 3 we did win the league, but we didn't actually win a trophy because of the weird playoff system. We have, however, managed to win the JFF Cup, which we won in Season 4, and more importantly, in Season 4 we also won the Caribbean Cup, which put us into the North American Champions League. So as we kick off Season 5 of our Building a Nation save, we do have, once again, the Caribbean Cup to get ourselves through. We have Cibao FC Defence Force, Violet and AS Capois. Still not quite sure if that's how it's pronounced, but that is what we're going to go with. We want to obviously get into the final of the Caribbean Cup, which that will guarantee us a place in the North American Champions League. And because of last season, it does help you out financially somewhat. We're almost, in fact, we are now in the positive cash flow. We've never been in positive cash flow since we joined the club. Anyway, it is the start, obviously, of a brand new season. The transfer window has opened already, but we haven't really done too much business. In fact, we've loaned a bunch of players out, and we've actually sold a man called Richard George. He's gone over to Veer United for a little bit of money. He basically wasn't going to be good enough for us, even though he did actually play 5 times for us in the league and did score a goal. Jumping back to our finances quickly, we don't have any money to spend, which is kind of to be expected at this point in this save, and we've only got about £300 left of our wage budget to spend, but we do have ourselves a pretty big squad, so there could be the opportunity to start maybe selling some players. Maybe that's what we need to do. I mean, we've got 4 goalkeepers, although Rishwan Bishop is only 16, so we've got 2 goalkeepers, and we've got Usain Greer, who's not very good, and a 16-year-old, so we've got a big squad, that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe we should try and sell some of these players. And on the 9th of September, we did sell a few players. In fact, Raheem Nicholson has left the club on a free transfer signing for Boys Town. Fred Wilkin has also left on a free transfer signing for Mount Pleasant FC. I wasn't convinced this was a good idea to do, but basically his contract had it did expire, I believe. So yeah, they just picked him up on a free. I feel like he could be good. Although, maybe by the time he gets good, we should be miles better than what he will ever be. And finally, moving for not really a lot of money, £3,000 I believe it was in total, is Darnell Hospedales. He has moved back over to his native Trinidad and Tobago, signing for Williams Connection. Basically, I didn't want to do this, but he's not Jamaican. And because he's not Jamaican, he basically takes up a foreigner spot. Although I've just noticed he is now Jamaican. He wasn't Jamaican when I did this. So he has to be here for 5 years. I might have made a big mistake. It doesn't matter, it's happened now. We've also brought in 2 brand new players to the club. Mikael Campbell is first up, a 22-year-old Jamaican right back, signed on a free transfer from Cavalier. Technically, we have signed him from another team, which we're not supposed to be doing, but he was out of contract. So, has we really signed him from there, or did he just leave there and we've picked him straight up? And the other thing that we have done is we have signed a Aruban international, Anor Martinez. Now, he is another one of those players who, in 5 years' time, he will become Jamaican if he sticks around. Obviously, he's not going to get Jamaica caps because he is playing for the Aruba national side, but he will become Jamaican and not count as a foreign footballer, which is perfectly good to me. He doesn't look very good, but I also think he is very good. This is going to be a weird comparison. A lot of people probably won't quite understand this. I see him like an Oriol Romeo. He's not amazing, but for some reason, some things he does really well. First touch marking and tackling, really good, particularly for our level of football. Mentally, really, really good footballer. Physically, actually not terrible. 12 natural fitness is actually pretty decent again for our level of football. But he just looks rubbish because he's not very good at penalties and free kicks and heading and stuff like that. But it's fine. We don't necessarily need him to do that. He has been put on the loan list because I don't know whether he's going to get a huge amount of game time for us. But hopefully he will. We have obviously got some spots to use up for our non-Jamaican footballers. Martinez will be using one of them. And that is it for the permanent transfers. Obviously, 6,000 loans have taken place because they will every single season until the end of time, because that's kind of one of the things you have to do when you're trying to build a nation. We have obviously kicked off the Caribbean Cup, and obviously we are bottom of the table. We have lost against, I'm going to say, Cibao. We have lost 2-1 against Cibao FC. Dominique Glasspole with the goal for us. Our team, by the way, is looking a little bit weird. So I've locked in one player, and that is Leo Campbell. He's going to be locked in on the right-hand side. I think he was locked in on the right-hand side last season, but that is it. Everyone else is kind of up for grabs. Our squad is still massive. It is unnecessarily large. A few players have gone on loan deals, but for the most part, everyone is still here. And we've got some players who I don't think are particularly good, still finding their way into the starting 11. But I guess there's not a lot we can do about it. I mean, this man here, he's still in our starting 11. I know it's a worrying player to be in our starting 11. The good thing is Martinez is also in our starting 11, which is quite nice to see. So we've brought in somebody who's definitely going to get game time. Hernandez has played as well. Now, I said when he came through our youth intake, I see big things in Hernandez, and I think we might be starting to see big things as well. He's only 1.5 star current ability, but he's getting game time. Glass pole. He's 16, 1 goal to his name and 1 appearance. He's not very good, but he does have 14 finishing. And we've also got down the bottom Andrew Ely, also 16 years old. Doesn't look very good, but he does again have 14 finishing. Our squad is a little bit... It's not in a good way because we've got lots of children in it, but that might be a good thing in about 4 or 5 years when these children are now fully grown adults and actually should be half decent at football, or some of them will be. Well, the next thing to do then is to jump forward to around, I think it's the end of, after Christmas, isn't it? Jump forward to after Christmas to see how the first part of the season goes. Obviously, we'll see the start and the finish of the Caribbean Cup. We are defending champions, so hopefully we can do the same thing again, but it has not started particularly well with that 2-1 defeat. So, first of all then, in the league, we currently find ourselves 4th place in the table. 19 points on the board, but we do have a game in hand, which if we were to win that, would put us into 2nd place behind Waterhouse. So, things are going all right at the moment. Jason Foster is the current top goal scorer in the league with 7. He's good, isn't he? He's very good at football. I do like the fact that this player came through our youth intake. I mean, technically before we joined the club, but he came through our youth intake. So, I'm happy he's doing well. I've just seen as well, average rating, Andreas Düring is up there in 3rd place. Look at him go. Where is he playing? Is he playing? Surely he's playing up front, right? He is playing up front. Okay, yeah, we do have 2 strikers, don't we? So he is playing up front, and he will become Jamaican in 3.5 years' time. It's going to happen. I feel like it is going to happen. Düring is going to be the first Austrian Jamaican. There can't be too many of them anyway. In the Caribbean Cup, we did manage to get ourselves through the group stage, eventually finally finishing at 2nd place in the table. Cibao FC winning the group with 12. We get 7 points, 2 wins against Capois and Violet, a draw as well against Defence Force, and then obviously the defeat at the start puts us through into the knockout rounds where we go past TLH Rangers, who I believe are from Trinidad. They are from Trinidad, in the semi-final, which puts us into the final. What am I talking about? No, we lost, didn't we? I don't know why I thought we won that one. I think it was we lost 2-1 and 3-2. We lost both matches. So we lost both matches, putting us up in a 3rd place playoff against Cibao FC. Now, we needed to win this match against Cibao FC in order to qualify for the North American Champions League for another season. And we did just that. It was a 0-0 draw in the first leg and then a 2-1 win in the second leg, which means we should have qualified for the North American Champions League starting in January time, which is very good to see. And by should have, we have qualified for it because on the 19th of February 2030, we are in the North American Champions League up against Inter Miami. So we go in at the first round. Last time around, it was the second round. Inter Miami is not going to be a particularly easy team to play against. I assume Messi's retired. If he hasn't retired, it's just madness. He's going to be the oldest player on the team if he hasn't retired yet. He's definitely retired, but they're good. Their oldest player is probably good enough to play for us. So despite the fact that we are doing okay in the league, we are doing pretty good in the Caribbean Cup. We have been knocked out of the JFF Cup in the first round against Treasure Beach. Treasure Beach is a 3-1 defeat. They are in the Premier Division, so that's kind of somewhat acceptable. But yeah, we've been knocked out. The defending champions out at round 1. Anyway, you know the drill. It is a transfer window. We've got just over £2,000 to spend, but we are well over our wage budget by about £300 as well. So expect more players to be leaving the club than to be joining it. And by that, I mean 3 players are going to go out on loan and 1 player is left on a permanent deal. Luke Main is the man to leave on a permanent deal. He's actually a Canadian under-20s international. He's moved over to Boys Town on a free transfer because he wasn't getting a huge amount of game time, and I don't think he's very good. One thing we did do as well is loan out Dominique Glasspole, who I believe was a player who scored in the first round of the Caribbean Cup for us. He's gone out on loan to Star Cosmos, who are in the Premier Division. I thought they were in the league below. So he's gone to the bottom team in the Premier Division. Premier Division, by the way, that we now sit top of the table, joint on points with Portmore United. But that is it when it comes to transfers. Obviously, a few players going on loan, Craig Markland and Richard Carruthers as well, but nobody else has left the club on any form of deal. Financially, it's not looking good. It's never looking good. What we need to happen is basically one of these players that we sign, like your Dürings, if he gets half decent, we sell him to a club over back in Europe with a 50% sell on. He moves over from that club to another club in Europe for, say, £5 million. We get £2.5 million and our finances are sorted. That needs to be the weird business plan that we go for. Winning competitions is not going to fix us financially. Finding gems and selling them to teams in Europe with massive sell-on percentages, that's what's going to save us financially. So yeah, on the 31st of January then, top of the table, 16 games have been played. The next thing we need to do is jump to the end of the season, see how we have landed when it comes to the Jamaican Premier League. We should be finishing in the top 6. It shouldn't be too much of a struggle to be doing that every single season now. We will also have our youth intake coming through, so hopefully we get a couple of gems in that also. I'm not going to beat around the bush when it comes to the North American Champions League. We are not going to be very good at this for a fair few seasons yet. We have been knocked out immediately by Inter Miami. It was 7-3 on aggregate, so a 4-2 defeat in the second leg. In the first leg, what is that, a 3-1 defeat as well. So 2 defeats means we fall at the first hurdle. What does it mean financially? We are a little bit better off. I think we were minus $500,000 last time we checked in. We're now minus 443,000. So a little bit of extra money has come in. When it comes to the league, however, we have topped the table. We are 3 points clear of Portmore United. It means that we will go straight into the semi-finals of the playoffs, or whatever it's called. Is it called the playoffs? It's just called a final, semi-final, and final. So we'll be going in at the semi-final level. We should be winning this. At some point, we have to win this league, okay? We've been basically in and there or thereabouts for every single season we've been in charge. We have to win this at some point. But before we win the league, we've got a youth intake to have a look at, okay? There's nothing particularly amazing really to shout home about. We've got 3 players that we've definitely brought in. Lennox Clough is the first one. Could be okay. He's got 3.5-star potential ability. He's got some decent mental numbers in flair and teamwork, but technically he's not very good. Physically, he's also not very good. Somebody who will probably inevitably get some game time, because that's normally what happens, is Paul Richards. He is a left winger and maybe a little bit of a striker. He's got 4-star potential, 1.5-star current ability. He looks okay, and I don't really know why I'm saying that, because he looks no different than the last guy in terms of kind of average numbers, but I think he might be able to do a job for us. We probably need to retrain him to be a left midfielder, which might be a problem. I don't know. We'll have to see. And speaking of left midfielders, we also have Michael Siddiqui, could be his name. 15 years old, he'll be turning 16 in 10 days in game. 1-star current ability, so looks absolutely appalling at the moment, but he does have 4.5-star potential. I don't know how much of that I believe. If you're not aware, and if you are aware, I'm completely sorry, but your potential is not based on everyone in the world. It is based on your current squad, and because our current squad is rubbish, a 5-star potential footballer will be a rubbish footballer, but better than all the other rubbish footballers, okay? So him having 4.5-star potential ability isn't awful, because he would get good enough to play for us. But by the time he hits that potential, we may well have outgrown him. So that potential is going to drop to, say, 2-star, because we've got world-class footballers playing for us. And then he's completely useless anyway. He's also 5'3", but at 15 years old, maybe he's going to grow. The only other player that we have brought in to the club is Roxroy Shaklood. I brought him in because he's a fullback, basically, and sometimes getting fullbacks is difficult. I don't think he's going to be any good, but, making up the numbers. So that's been our youth intake. Next up then, we will jump to the end of Season 5. Will we be lifting the Jamaican Premier League? If we don't, we've only won 1 trophy this year, and that's appalling. For the first time since we have taken charge of Montego Bay United, we do win the Jamaican Premier Division, and it is Leo Campbell who is the absolute hero, opening the scoring after just 4 minutes. We do actually go 1-1, a penalty scored by Berger, but then in the second half, basically 65 minutes onwards, Leo Campbell just lights the world on fire, gets the ball from Daru. Can he get his second? Of course he can get his second. We take the lead, and then just a few minutes later, Leo Campbell does the same again, picking up the match ball in the process, during with the ball, runs down the wing, crosses it into Campbell, lovely flicked head, makes it 3-1, completing his hat-trick. But we are not done there. No, we are not. Hesteron Barry from a corner leaps like a salmon, heads it into the back of the net. It is a 4-1 victory, and we are champions of Jamaica for the first time. It's taken probably 3 years longer than I thought it would, but we have managed to do it. And it is just the 5th time that Montego Bay United have actually won the Jamaican Premier Division as well. I believe they were called something else before. Was it Seba United? So we won it in 15-16, 13-14. We won it in 96-97 as Seba United, and also 86-87 as Seba United. I mean, it's taken a while. It's certainly taken a while for us to win this trophy. It is the first time in 15 years that Montego Bay have lifted the Jamaican Premier League, but we have done it. Season 6 is just around the corner. Has it fixed us financially? Of course it hasn't. Why would it? They've probably given us about £10,000 prize money. That's probably all they've done. So season 6 then, we are defending champions. We need to win the Caribbean Cup again. We need to have a better performance, I think, when it comes to the North American Champions League, assuming we can get in it, which we should be able to do, but we're going to have to see. It feels good looking at our trophy cabinet at the start of Season 6 and seeing 5 Jamaican Premier Leagues. Obviously, we were champions last time around. Can we do the same? On the 29th of January 2030, the transfer window was open. Financially, we've got £6,000 to spend, and we've got about £400 to spend on wages if we want to. Don't really know if we're going to be able to do a huge amount. We have also had a big expenditure. What is that expenditure? I feel like that is going to be an investment into like maybe the stadium. I don't know. Can we find out? Ground maintenance, which means it is, yes, it is the stadium. So we've got ourselves a sponsorship deal, okay? Because we need that to expand our stadium. But this is the first expansion we are going to get. It will be finished in October. And I think, what's that going to be? Around 6,500 capacity, maybe? 6,300, something like that. So we're starting to get ourselves a bigger stadium. And if we look schedule-wise, last season, home matches, we were getting 5,000, 5,000, 4,800. We are basically selling out home matches in the league or getting very close to it. So we need to have a bigger stadium. Obviously, North American Champions League, 5,000 capacity is not big enough. We need like 20, 30,000 capacity stadium in the North American Champions League. Obviously, that's not going to happen anytime soon, but we really need to have a bigger stadium, and we have started to make the first steps in doing that. Anyway, transfer window is obviously open. No business has taken place as of yet, but there is a player definitely joining the club because he agreed to join back in January, but he joined once his contract expires. So we're going to jump forward to the next part of the save and have a look at the new faces joining the club. There are 3 new faces that have joined the club in total, but also a few players have left on permanent deals. Sean Shetty, first up, has spent the last 3 seasons out on loan to various clubs around Jamaica. He has moved over to Treasure Beach. And in fact, that's it on permanent deals. Everyone else has gone out on loan, but you can see there a name, Usain Greer, who was our 3rd or 4th choice goalkeeper. He's gone out on loan, which I think he could get good. He just needs a bit more game time. Richard Carruthers, I feel like, is another player who I've mentioned before, maybe? I don't know. Fidel Thelwell, that's a difficult name to say. He's gone out on loan. I don't know whether that's of interest to anybody at all. Jared Barkley's also gone out on loan to Olympic Gardens, who I feel like they were in the Premier League. Were they? Maybe not. I'm thinking of a completely different team. But we have brought in 3 new faces as well. We have Damari Miller from Mount Pleasant FC, a central midfielder who is just going to be really good for us. I think he's probably our best signing on paper that we've made, and he's Jamaican, which is really helpful. Signing from Cavalier, we have 21-year-old under-20s international on a free transfer, Craig Walters. He's going to get good. He used to play for Volvo United. Is that a real team, Volvo United? Why did I not find them? I could have won the North American Champions League with Volvo United. Anyway, Walters joining the club. I think now with those 2 new signings, we've got ourselves a very good central midfield. Miller and Walters will be our central midfield for a good couple of seasons. We also have Marcos Henrique, who signed from SAM in Brazil. I'm not even sure who they are, but he came up on a scout report, and I went, he's Brazilian. He's free. We'll take him. He looks pretty good. We've brought in 3 really good central midfielders, and we've got ourselves a Brazilian under-23 international playing in Jamaica randomly. A player who's never played for SAM as well, in the Brazilian National 3rd Division. Anyway, so that is our transfer business. Taking a look at the squad. Last season, the squad was very big. This season, it is still very big, isn't it? It's arguably too big. We've still got During, who is 4-star current ability. He is working his way to getting himself a Jamaican passport. He's got 1,000 days, so what was that, just over or 3 years to go? He's got 3 years to go before he is able to become Jamaican. We've got Martinez, who played 16 times for us last season. He is on his way as well to getting himself a Jamaican passport, although he's only been here for just over a year currently. Batchme Joseph, who has been here since the start of the save, or very close to the start of the save, cannot become Jamaican. I don't know why, which is quite frustrating. And the player that obviously we have literally just signed, where is he? There he is. He's Brazilian. His flag blends in. Marcos Monrique is also starting to learn to become Jamaican. That's not how you would say that, but that's how we have said that. I just want to take a look as well. So the best 11, we are playing a 4-4-2 wing play, by the way, which I feel like we might need to change if we want to make any more headway when it comes to playing in the continental competition. So this is what they think our best players are. So we've got a very good goalkeeper in the shape of Daniel Russell. We've also got some good centre midfielders, Miller, Enrique and Walters we know about. So that looks pretty good, although they're only 2.5 star. Up front, we have During, we have Jason Foster as well. So we're looking okay. We've got Jermaine Reese as our left back, who's pretty decent. Right back is Mikael Campbell, who we signed last season. So we've got some players that arguably we could replace, and we probably will need to replace at some point. But right now, I'm happy with this squad. When you look at our finances, I have no choice to be happy with this squad, but I'm saying it now, I am actually legitimately happy with this squad. Something I'm a little bit confused about, it is the 8th of September, and we're not in the Caribbean Cup. Although, oh no, wait, okay. They're staggered, aren't they? They're staggered. So this season, we didn't qualify for the Caribbean Cup. So hold on, right. So this season here, we did not qualify for the Caribbean Cup, which is why we are not in the Caribbean Cup this time around. It's confusing, okay? I feel like I'm not saying that the database that I'm using isn't right, because I do think the Jamaican League runs kind of from like June to May time. I think it kind of follows like the regular English sort of style season, but the rest of the North American competitions don't follow that. So if we did a competition that was like January to September, like the MLS is, it would probably be fine because we'd play the Caribbean Cup at the end of the season and then qualify for it for the start of next season, and that would be fine. But we don't. It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is we're not in the Caribbean Cup this season. It's kind of annoying, but there we are. So we've got 2 competitions to hopefully win, and let's see if we can do that. So on the 30th of December, I hope you've all had a lovely Christmas in 2030. We are currently sat top of the Jamaican Premier Division on 34 points. That is a nice big 7-point gap between us and second place Waterhouse. We are in the Caribbean Cup in 231 days, which is obviously next season, and we are into the JFF Cup quarterfinal, which makes it sound like we've got really far, but we've played 1 match. In fact, we haven't played 1 match, because I assume because we won the league, we just go in straight at this stage, which is ridiculous. Fair enough. So basically, what I'm saying is, Caribbean Cup hasn't happened yet, and the JFF Cup hasn't happened yet. We're not involved in this until we play the first match in the quarterfinals against VA United. In the league, we are top of the table. We've actually only dropped points against Portmore United. I don't think I looked at this last season, but right now, 10 games, 11, 12 games into the season, During's on 7, which is pretty good going. We've got Gavin Burton's he's on 4, second top goal scorer. He's not very good. I know he's a real man, and if he ever sees this video, I apologise, but he's not very good in the grand scheme of things compared to what we actually have. Leo Campbell, who is a real man, he's pretty good. I do quite like Leo Campbell. Might need to get him a new contract because it does expire in 6 months' time. How is Enrique doing? 2 goals and an assist from central midfield. I like the fact that he's doing well. That is good. Martinez is not playing a huge amount of football at the moment, which is kind of to be expected. He has been kind of dropped down the pecking order because of the 3 new signings that we brought in during the summer transfer window. So we're looking good. We've got some good players coming through the squad. We've got some decent youngsters actually getting some game time as well. So I'm happy with how things are going. Obviously top of the table. If we can do the double this year, that'll be pretty massive. So jumping forward then to the 30th of January, the transfer window is closed and we have done nothing, basically because we have no money. We are in the red by £500,000. We are over our wage budget. We've got a little bit of transfer budget to spend, but if you look, if we move that into our wage budget, it moves up by not even £100 a week. So there's no point in doing it. We just need to kind of ride this wave out. Like I said earlier, I think last season maybe the start of this season, what we need to do is get a big player who we can sell with a massive percentage sell on. And if they go to a big club, particularly if we get someone that goes over to say England, who gets picked up by one of the big boys in England, and then they move from Chelsea to Bayern Munich for £100 million and we get 50% of that. We don't need to worry about money ever again. We can invest all that money, new stadium, new facilities and everything like that, and we become the best team in Jamaica, which is arguably where we are heading fairly quickly anyway. We've got our biggest stadium, we've got some exceptional youth recruitment, we've got average academy and below average training, so we need to put some money into that, but obviously we don't have the money to do that. Anyway, we are still top of the Jamaican Premier League. We have won every game in between this clip and the last one. 46 points. We are still 7 points clear. Second place, Waterhouse United. So I feel like we're going to finish top of the table, which means we should just be able to go through to the final and win back-to-back Jamaican Premier Leagues. We're also in the JFF Cup semi-final up against Dunbeholden. Harbour View play Cavalier in the other one. Now, I know we're not quite there yet, but in April we will be getting our youth intake, which we will take a look at in just a moment. It is a 1.5-star youth intake, which is awful. We are not getting good youth intakes at all. Even though we've got exceptional youth recruitment, we've arguably got a pretty good director of football. It's not the director of football, hold on. Head of youth development, that's the fella. We've got a pretty good head of youth development. He does play a 4-4-2 as well, so we should be bringing in players that do kind of match our system. The problem is, we're in Jamaica, and apologies to any Jamaicans watching, there's not a huge amount of good Jamaican footballers out there. Speaking of, I really should take a look at the Jamaican national side, see how well things are going. So when I say there's not a huge amount of decent Jamaican footballers, there are, but they're all English. Like, most of them were born in England, they have just Jamaican descent. There's not a huge amount that have come just from Jamaica, which is what we're obviously trying to do. One of them is actually our goalkeeper. He is just full-on Jamaican. And yeah, he is probably the second or third best goalkeeper in Jamaica, which is good, and he's ours. I'm also going to have a look at the national side in general. So, managed by Donovan Ducky. So it is not. Is it Steve Bruce? Is it? It's Steve McLaren, isn't it? Is actually in charge in real life. Ducky has been in charge since the start of the save. So he's just having a lovely time. They seem to have been climbing up the world rankings, only a little bit, but they are climbing up the world rankings. Competitions wise, I'm imagining they haven't won anything. They came third in the North American Gold Cup in 2027. 2029, they were runner-up in the North American Nations League. What is that? I mean, they're in the semi-finals at the moment, so sure, it's okay. It's just all the North American sides are in that one. The Caribbean Championships apparently isn't a thing anymore. They're not really doing a huge amount. Are they qualifying for a World Cup? They are. So they got through the... Hold on a minute. Now, obviously, we've not really had a huge kind of impact on this at the moment. So, group stage, in this World Cup, they qualified in third in Group J with Cameroon, Belgium, and Australia. They qualified just because they drew all their games, which is fair enough. Undefeated group stage, I'd like to point out. Then in the second round, I'm trying to find Jamaica. This is not going to be easy. There they are. So, they lose to DR Congo 2-1. But the fact they managed to do that in America is pretty good. And then in the 2030, I think they got knocked out in the group. Yes, they did. Argentina, Senegal, and Serbia. So they didn't go undefeated this time around. They drew with Serbia and then obviously lost against Argentina and Senegal. So they're getting into the World Cup. So Kyrgyzstan, who I can never pronounce that name, but that's what we're going to go with. Obviously, the World Cup is bigger, so it's easier to get into the World Cup. Dominican Republic have qualified as well. So it's an interesting time, I guess. Do you honestly think we are able to get Jamaica to win a World Cup over the course of... I want to say 40 years is what I'm going to be doing in this save. I don't even know how far I'm going to go yet, but in 40 years we should have maybe 10 World Cups. Can they win one? Or maybe get to the semis? If they can get to the semi-finals, I will take that as a win. Anyway, I've waffled long enough in January. Let's jump forward then to the end of the regular season. We're currently top. We should finish top. And let's also take a look at this below average youth intake. Well, good news, we did win the Jamaican Premier League phase, which means absolutely nothing, as we all know. And we did win it by, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points over second place Waterhouse. We did actually lose a couple of games, Veer United and Cavalier. Cavalier is a side that we'll be playing in the JFF Cup final. We have the chance to do the double. It's possible. It's obviously possible to do. Last season, we ballsed up the JFF Cup, but we have won that one in the past. And obviously, we won the Jamaican Premier League last season. Let's take a look at the youth candidates that we got. We did actually get in a lot of players who, it's come through as an average intake. I hate this, by the way. This is the default skin, and I hate the fact that this still doesn't line up. We've got Norman Gooden. Norman Gooden, I think's good, okay? He's a good one. I'm currently with my head in my hands after that one. I apologise. 15 years old, 6'3" centre-back. He's a big lad. He's actually not terrible. He looks worse than he actually is because he's got lots of 9s. 9s and 10s, when they start moving into double figures, into the yellows as well, he suddenly starts looking like a lot better player. He's 15. He's 15 years old. He's probably going to be getting some game time maybe in the next couple of seasons. We also have Andre Maxwell, another 15-year-old centre-back, this time only 6 foot. He could be good. I'm not too convinced on Andre. Ricardo McLeod, he's got some very good finishing and first touch, and literally nothing else outside of that. Cranston Hendricks doesn't even have that by the looks of it. He's got 10 dribbling, 7 finishing, 7 first touch. Got a bit of technique, got a bit of mental numbers when it comes to determination. That is not awful at 14, but he is a mercenary. He's probably going nowhere, and ironically, he's probably leaving the club. We've got ourselves a Chad on the right-hand side as well, 15-year-old Chad Brown. He's very fast, although he's not fast as he's got 10 pace, but he's very quick to get to that 10 pace with his 15 acceleration. Most things not too exciting. Kareem Phillips, we're moving into the kind of the garbage players now. We've got Raldane Drummond, who's a natural wing-back. You definitely need to be retrained. I think you'll look quite good, and I don't know why. You're a central midfielder. That's what I'm seeing you as. You're a central midfielder. We've also got Shaquille Codrington, who, yeah, again, I don't know what it is, but I feel like you're better than your star ratings are kind of telling me. It's not a good intake. Norman Gooden is probably the only one really who's going to make kind of a big deal out of himself. And like I said, I feel like he might get game time, maybe even before the end of the season. Sometimes the assistant manager likes to do that. So then, without further ado, let's jump to the end of the season. We have to obviously play the finals and the JFF Cup final as well up against Cavalier. We made it all the way to the final of the Jamaican Premier League and we played Mount Pleasant FC, and unfortunately after 32 minutes we go 1-0 down thanks to Frey. And things went from bad to worse on the 42nd minute. Daly makes it 2-0 before half-time from the penalty spot. And then into the second half, do we start to turn things around? No, we do not. We concede a third goal. Wilson collects the ball with acres of space, finds Daly once again, takes a touch, takes another one, puts it past Russell. A 3-0 defeat in the end against Mount Pleasant FC, which means we do not win the Jamaican Premier Division, but we do qualify for the Caribbean Cup because we got to the final. I hope. I still don't know whether that's true. And if it isn't true, maybe the winner of the JFF Cup will be the team to get into the Caribbean Cup. Unfortunately for us, Cavalier took the lead against us in 15 minutes into the second half. However, we suddenly start to turn things around. Foster finds Campbell on the right-hand side, takes a couple of touches, crosses the ball in low, finds During, the Austrian, who will soon become Jamaican in my eyes, makes it 1-1. And then from the corner, Reese whips it in towards the middle. McGovern's there at the front post, making it 2-1 after 78 minutes, and we pick up the JFF Cup. We could have won the double. We arguably should have won the double, but we got a trophy in the cabinet, which is fine by me. It's not the most successful season, but this means we should have qualified for the Caribbean Cup. I still don't know how we qualify for the Caribbean Cup, but in season 7, it is season 7, the next season, we are going to have Portmore United and ourselves. So it's only 2 teams. It might be the league champions and the cup winners, and those are the 2 teams that qualify. How was there no way of finding this out? There was no way in game to find out how you qualify for that competition. It just happens. So, league table-wise, on the season where we won the league, which is what basically has put us into the Caribbean Cup, Portmore United finished in 2nd place, and did they get to the final? They did not. However, the sleuthing is not over. The past winners was not Portmore United. Okay, so 1st and 2nd place in the league will qualify for it. So it doesn't matter if we become champions. So does that mean Mount Pleasant? Mount Pleasant didn't qualify for the Caribbean Cup, despite the fact that they won the league. Oh, that sucks for them. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but that sucks for them. So that might mean that ourselves and Waterhouse are in it in season 8. We'll have to find out. I don't know. We'll find out at some point. I'm going to take a very quick look at the squad, sorting by goals. So we've got Leo Campbell in double figures on 11 goals, playing on that right wing position. He's good. He is definitely good. He's got himself a bit of a bigger contract as well. And Andreas During, now 21 years old, 18 finishing. He's got a month left on his deal. Think we need to try and extend that somehow. He has got 15 goals, 5 assists in all competitions, sorting by assist as well. Nobody really getting huge numbers. Joseph's got 9, but also 8 goals. Jermaine Reese has got 8 assists. Damani Miller has 7 and 3. We've also got Jason Foster with 6 and 6, and annoyingly, Foster is leaving the club. He has been arguably one of our best players, if not the best player, for the last few seasons, and he's decided he's had enough playing for us. He wants to play with better footballers. He's going to be moving on. So Season 6 is over. We are not champions of the Jamaican Premier League, but we are champions of the JFF Cup, and we will hopefully be in the Caribbean Cup in the coming season as well. Obviously, we will be in the Caribbean Cup next season, but hopefully we'll be in the one after as well. Things are going all right. I would like to fix the finances.